thing about being an author?
The best thing about being an author is most of the time, not on days like this when I come to visit schools, which is something I do a fair bit of, but not an awful lot. These days are horrible, because do you know what time I had to get up this morning? I had to get up at 7 o'clock because I was staying in a hotel in Bury. If I'd had to get up to get the train up here, I'd have had to get up at 1 o'clock in the morning. It would have been madness. Normally, I don't get up till about 9:30, 10 o'clock, because I don't have anywhere to go. Do you know where I go to work? I get out of bed, I walk out of my bedroom, around the corner, into my study. Here we go, I'm at work. What time do your mum or dad get up in the morning?
7 o'clock?
7 o'clock! It was dark. I looked out the window and it's pitch black. 7 o'clock in the morning. I normally get up when the sun gets up. This time of year, about 10 o'clock. So that's the best thing, being able to not have to bother getting up a lot.
What's your favourite letter in the alphabet and why?
My favourite letter in the alphabet is Y. What?
What's your favourite letter in the alphabet and why?
Yours is Y. Well, my favourite letter in the alphabet is probably a capital B. I'll tell you two words, two of my favouriteest words to say. One is, and the reason they're my favourite words is because they're, do you know what an onomatopoeia is? An onomatopoeia is a word that sounds like the thing it describes. So splash is an onomatopoeia, or dong, you know, noise of bell, onomatopoeia. These two words, I think of like physical onomatopoeias. One is bumblebee. Bumblebee. When you say bumblebee, your mouth makes these three round shapes. Bumblebee. And a bum is sort of round, and a ball is sort of round, and a bee is sort of round. Bumblebee. And think of what a bumblebee looks like. It's fat and furry, 3 segments, because it's an insect, head, thorax, and abdomen. Bumblebee. I love it, it's brilliant. And the other physical onomatopoeia related to that is wasp. Bumblebee, big, fat, furry. Wasp, smooth, sleek, fast. Wasp. There's no bar, there's no, it's just one thing. And it's got that little P at the end, that wasp. What's a wasp have at the end of it? A sting. Yeah, it has a sting, doesn't it? It's a wasp. It's big. Yeah, so bumblebee. So probably the capital B of bumblebee.
What is your favourite Fizzlebert Stump book and why?
My favourite Fizzlebert Stump book and why? I'm fond of the first one, Fizzlebert Stump, the boy who ran away from the circus and joined the library, because it was the first one. It was the one I wrote first, didn't know what else was happening, suddenly this book appears. It's the one that the publishers picked up, they bought it, that was very nice, they asked me to write more. So that one has a soft spot, because if that didn't exist, none of the others would. I brought a present for you. This book comes out next month. So this is the only copy, I've got a copy at home, I've given a couple away, but this is the only one that exists yet. It's not in the shops yet. And this is the 5th Fizzlebert Stump. This is called Fizzlebert Stump, the boy who did PE in his pants. In this book, Fizz accidentally goes to school and obviously doesn't have a PE kit and does it in his pants. And this is quite good, I'm quite fond of that. So I'm going to leave that for the classroom. Yeah, there's only one copy though, so I will sign it before we go.
How long have you had a beard?
I've had a beard about this long. Next question.
When did you become an author?
When did I become? It depends. It depends what being an author means. I mean, I wrote things when I was at school, like you have to write things. When I was a teenager, when I was about 15, I started writing poems because I wanted girls to like me. It's the sort of thing that it's a snicker from behind the iPad that's the most worrying. Because that's the sort of thing you worry about when you're a teenager. So I started writing poems then, making little booklets of my own. My first book was published, poetry book for grown-ups, in 2004.
Why do you put brackets in a lot of your books?
Because sometimes things needs to be in brackets, otherwise it would spill out into the rest of the thing. And sometimes you're saying something and you have to sort of say something else, so you put it in a bracket, and while you're saying that, something else occurs, you have to put that in a bracket. Then while you're saying that, there's a third thing, you've got to put that in a bracket. And the only thing to remember is to close all the brackets before you carry on with what you were saying originally. Favourite character out of all the Fizzabert stump books? I was just thinking what my girlfriend Isabel would say. That, and she would say that the character that is most me, you know, I'm not, there's nothing of me in Fizz. Fizz is, you know, whatever he is. His mum's the only character that is really me, which I guess means it's going to be my favourite, is Fish. The sea lion. I think it's in Bearded Boy, in the second book. I think it describes Fish's thought process, which is fish, 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 no, fish, 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 no, fish, oh, fish, oh, no, 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 fish, oh, no. And I think, yeah, no, I like the simplicity of Fish's.
How long does it take to make a book?
How long does it take? My bit of the book, which is writing it in the first place, it varies. For the first Fizz I wrote in about a week. The second Fizz I wrote in a couple of weeks. The third Fizz took a month and a half, 2 months. The fourth Fizz was about 2 months. So I'm getting worse as I go on. They take longer each time. So I'd say probably a month or two of actual writing. Write, all got to the end. What happens then? I send that off to my editor at a publisher. My editor is like Mrs. Lynchy, like your teacher. She looks at your work. My editor looks at my work and goes, well, that's not good enough, is it? This bit's a bit boring. Could you make that more interesting? I don't understand what's happening here. You don't spell that like that. And she gives me sort of notes on it and sends it back and says, oh, you need to make this better, or this character's not working. So then I have to sort of redo things, basically do my homework on it, which takes a little bit, isn't it? A week or two. I give it back. She says, yes, it's perfect now. We give it to Sarah Horn. She does rough pictures. We look at those and go, no, he's got the wrong moustache. That man should have a curly one, he's got a little one. We give her notes on the picture. She then does them beautifully smart in ink and pen and ink, sends those in. So then we got the pictures and we got the text. Then that goes to a printer somewhere who makes them, probably in China, I imagine. Oh no, India. This new one, typeset by New Gen Knowledge Works, Chennai, India. So in the very south of India, isn't it, Chennai? And then it comes out into the shops. And the process between me writing it and it being published, probably about a year. It all takes. So I've written. Last year I wrote 2 Fizzes. I wrote this one, Boy Who Did Pee in His Pants, and I wrote another one which will be out at the end of the summer, which will be book 6, and that's the lot. Fizz is 6 books, and that's it, done. And right now I'm working on a book probably called Greta Zargo and the Death Robots from Outer Space, which will be out in 2017. So I'm always working quite a long way ahead, and that's a new funny book, a bit like Fizz but with more pictures and stuff.
Cat's favourite book.
What's my cat's favourite? Which one of the cats, Vincent or Susan? No, pick one. I haven't got time to tell you both. So pick one. Sorry? Susan is a grumpy ginger cat who the vets have told us is overweight and needs to, so we're trying to stop her from eating so much and encouraging her to go out and play. And Susan says, "Wurra, wurra, wurra," a lot when you pick her up or you put her in your lap. And she goes, "Oh, stop oppressing me! Wurra, wurra, wurra," and you lift your hands and she just sits there going, "Stop oppressing me!" So she would probably enjoy something like George Orwell's 1984, some dystopian Hunger Games-ish picture of a dreadful world where everyone's oppressed and they're bullied and everything's rotten and awful, because that's how she feels a lot of the time. Even though she's a fat, pampered cat who has everything she wants, she for some reason just goes, "Oh, leave me alone!" Except when we're sleeping, when she'll happily come and sleep on the bed there, because when we're asleep, I think cat psychology, when we're asleep, is the closest to us actually being dead. And she likes us then. She just lies there in the dark in the night looking at us asleep going, "If they were dead, I could eat them. One day, all this will be mine." I'm gonna eat you. Yeah, so that's Susan. So.
Do you have any hidden secrets?
If I had some hidden secrets, do you think I would tell them to you, especially while we're being filmed? What I will say is, yes, I do have hidden secrets. Okay, so, but obviously I'm not going to tell you, because you have any hidden secrets? No, you're all on the surface, you're just all open, everybody knows everything about Harry.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
Did you like reading at primary school?
Did I like reading at primary school? I think so. Yeah, I was always a bit of a reader. Whether it was comics, whether it was through primary school, I was reading things like, The Hobbit, I read, by J.R.R. Tolkien. I love the Tintin books, by the Belgian Hergé. I read a lot of, especially around your age, I was reading a lot of fighting fantasy books, Choose Your Own Adventure. They were good. I was reading all sorts of things. So yes, I was a reader, I'm afraid.
I don't like reading at all.
What? But you told me, because I met you earlier, do you remember? We were over there, met you earlier. You told me that you really enjoyed Fizzlebert Stump, the boy who ran away from the circus,
Yeah, when
and joined the library.
When Mrs. Leachy read it, I don't like reading it on to myself.
So you just want pretty ladies to read you books. Is this? I just want to sit down and be read to by beautiful women. It's not bad to have an ambition in life. I approve of that. You might find something that ticks your boxes. But